Hi there. So I've decided to film a reading vlog for two new releases that I want to read. I have Malice by Heather Walter. This is a Sleeping Beauty retelling, but I think it's queer. And I've already started with this one. It's Lost in the Neverwoods by Aidan Thomas. This is one of my most anticipated books for this year. I love this author. They wrote Cemetery Boys, and I've already started a little bit. I'm that much through it. It's about 86 pages, and it's a Peter Pan retelling. And so far, it is just amazing. I could just gush about Aidan Thomas writing all day long. It's just so immersive to me. It is very slow. The storytelling is very slow. The way they write is there's a lot of description to make you picture what the scene is and what the atmosphere of it is. You just feel so immersed in the story as it happens, and you see it happen, and you feel the emotions of the characters, and they do an amazing job with characterization. There's so much depth to them. It's amazing, and to me it feels like I'm reading a movie. I'm watching it happen in my head in real time, and it's so good. I love it. So I'm really excited to continue. So far we've met Wendy, who has disappeared 5 years ago with her two brothers, and she came back 6 months in alone. And so for the last 5 years, basically, her parents and her and the whole town have been mourning the disappearance of the two boys. It opens up with two other kids having disappeared in the present timeline, so it's very interesting. So you start to wonder if the disappearances are related. She also meets this boy called Peter, who she almost ran over, and he seems to actually know her. I really enjoy when Peter is on page. He is being described exactly how I would imagine him to be. So I don't know, I'm loving it already. So I don't know where the story is going, to be honest, but I'm just along for the ride. I'm loving the writing. I'm enjoying it so much. Alright, so we are Monday. I haven't been able to read on Sunday because I was doing a lot of moving, trying to pack things and stuff. So I am now, I've read a little bit today. I am now 100 pages from the end, so I'm pretty happy with the progress, though. You know, with everything that's going on, I'm busy and stuff, so I'm pretty happy with how I'm reading still. I would love to finish it by today if I can. I only have 100 pages left, like I said. I know much more now. Wendy is getting some memories back, and she is starting to piece together what happened when her and her brothers disappeared. Not much is happening that is super eventful, but I just enjoy getting through the story and, you know, just being along for the ride, really. It's something that I really like about Aidan Thomas writing. It really feels like you are immersed in that world, and at that moment the descriptions are splendid. I think they do a really nice job at making you feel like you're in the story and that you can see things happening in front of your eyes. So I really like that. Something was said at some point in the book that I felt was a little hint of what actually happened. So I have this guess of what happened now, and I'm wondering if that's true or not. I have a feeling that it is, because later on today I read another little thing that made me think I think I'm on the right track of where the story is going, if that makes sense, and what really happened to the brothers. I'm super excited with this book. I'm loving it. It is not for everyone, like I said. It is a slow reading book. Even though there is action, it's not fast-paced action. I just love the dialogues, I just love the descriptions. It just, Aiden Thomas did a fabulous job, so loving it. Can't wait to finish it and come back with my thoughts on that one. I am finally moved into the new apartment. Hopefully there's not too much echo, although obviously I'm still in boxes, so I haven't finished that. Anyway, so I just wanted to update this because I didn't have time before. I was really busy packing up and things like that. And so I was planning on reading Lost in the Neverwoods by Aiden Thomas and Malice by Heather Walter. And I have read Lost in the Neverwoods, and I'll talk about it in a second. But I had started Malice and I realized that the writing style was just not for me. It felt very Walt Disney retelling. Although this is great, it just wasn't something I wanted to read. I would enjoy that kind of storytelling as a movie, but not really in a book. I don't know if that makes sense, but I just felt like the writing style was a bit too fairy tale-esque, but the Disney version, and I just didn't want to read something like that. From what I've read, it also felt quite young, so I would say that it is on the younger side of YA, and it wasn't something I was in the mood for, and I don't think I actually would be in the mood for this anytime soon, so I just decided to not finish it and give it back to the library, and hopefully someone else will enjoy it. Okay, so moving on to Lost in the Neverwoods by Aiden Thomas. This was a retelling of Peter Pan in a way that I appreciated better. I was a bit unsure on how I wanted to rate this one. I'm still like between 4 and 5, and I'm not sure. I just love their way of writing. I just love the description and the time they take to make you feel invested in the characters and immersed in the story. It's so descriptive that it almost feels like you're seeing it as a movie, and I really enjoy that type of writing. So to me, it just solidified the fact that Aiden Thomas is an author that I will always read, no matter what the book is about, because ultimately this story wasn't necessarily something I was interested in. I think this book was written before Cemetery Boys. Maybe they did some modification before publishing, but I still feel like you can tell between the two books that this one is less polished than Cemetery Boys, but it doesn't diminish the fact that the author's voice is the same. So I would say a few things were not really working for me. I would have liked Wendy to be a little bit more questioning. I think she missed some opportunities that were very obvious to me, and she could have asked much earlier in the book, and I think it would have helped move the story along a little bit faster. I think that might be a complaint that a lot of people will have reading this book, is that it is slow. But having said that, Cemetery Boys was also quite slow. I think it's just Aiden Thomas's writing style. You might like it, you might not. It's not necessarily plot driven, it's much more character driven for sure. This one, I would say it's the characters are less developed than Cemetery Boys, but they're still interesting, and I think you can still connect with them. Although Wendy wasn't questioning out loud, she was doubting a lot inside, and she was wondering what was going to happen next, what was the future gonna be like, and this became really redundant by the end. She had people that she could talk to, and she could have voiced more of her doubts, but she didn't, and I think this was kind of frustrating because you can see that she is supposed to be a little bit more mature for her age because of what happened to her and her family. Yeah, and so you would want her to be able to communicate a little bit better, if that makes sense. And I think I found that this happened also with Cemetery Boys, is that at the end you've got this big reveal with the villain having his own monologue and just going on tangent and talking and blah blah blah, and it felt a little bit exaggerated. The villain very much felt one-dimensional. We could have explored more with that because it was an interesting story. So what was interesting was Wendy's and Peter's relationship. I wish there would have been more interactions between those two. So if you want to pick up this book, just know that it is slow. If you read Cemetery Boys, I think you might like it a little bit less. If you haven't read Cemetery Boys, you could start with this one and then Cemetery Boys if you're interested in either stories. But just know that it is more of a follow along the character. For this one specifically, the pace is pretty much the same throughout the book, even at the end with the big reveal. And the twist is pretty obvious. If you like slice of life type of stories and following along someone who is trying to overcome her struggles, then I think you might enjoy this. It's easy at times, it's cute. I really loved every moment Peter was in the book. I wish we had more of that. I guess that's what I like about those books, is that they are comfortable reads. You like being with those characters, you like knowing how they feel and what their lives are. You just like being along for the ride, really. So yes, so I guess this was half of a successful reading vlog, but at least I really enjoyed the book that I actually finished. Let me know if you read any of those or if you plan on reading them. Hopefully I'll come back with another reading vlog soon. I have had a hard time reading recently because of the move, obviously. But I'm really excited to start again once I'm all settled in. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want more reading vlogs. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.